Chapter 36. Echoes of betrayal there stepped out of the prison gates into the fetid embrace of Aelthyr's streets, the iron clanging shut behind him like a final curse. Aelthyr was both the name of the king Aelthyr Vaelorion, the paranoid regent of Vaeloria, and the capital city of Vaeloria, which he named after himself in a display of vanity. Vaer's ribs ached with every breath, a dull fire where the bandages wrapped tight, and his limp dragged his left boot through the muck, but the weight in his coin purse, fat with Janz's promised gold, eased the sting. Freedom tasted like stale ale and regret, but mostly relief. No more babysitting that starry-scarred fool from another world, no more dodging beasts drawn by the kid's cursed glow. Dylan was a complication Vaer didn't need, a weak link in a chain already frayed by his own betrayals. Let the gods and kings scrap over him. Vaer was done playing mentor to a lost cause. He rolled his shoulders, wincing at the pull, and melted into the throng, the city's pulse swallowing him whole. The city of Aelthyr sprawled like a bloated corpse under a bruised sky, its spires clawing upward from slums that reeked of piss, rot, and desperation. Cobblestones slick with rain and refuse gleamed under flickering lanterns, where merchants hawked withered fruits and star-shatter-laced trinkets from carts creaking under the weight of false hopes. The people were a ragged tapestry of Erindor's underbelly, hollow-eyed labourers trudging from the docks, their backs bent from hauling crates of blood-red timber from the Bloodwild, faces smeared with soot and resignation, whores in threadbare silks leaning against alley walls, flashing gap-toothed smiles at passing soldiers whose armoured shoulders bore the king's insignia, their laughter brittle as they bartered flesh for a scrap of escape. Beggars huddled in doorways, missing limbs from border skirmishes with Krindar, muttering prayers to Calith that went unanswered while children darted through the crowds, nimble fingers lifting purses or hawking stolen baubles. The air thrummed with the din of haggling curses and the occasional crack of a whip from a slaver's chain gang shuffling toward the markets, where human cargo was traded like cattle under the shadow of the star shrine's distant pulse. Life here was a grind, survival scraped from the edges of Aelthyr's paranoia. Taxes bled the poor dry to fund his feasts, while whispers of cultists flaying dissenters in hidden basements kept eyes down and mouths shut. Vaer shouldered through it all, his scarred face drawing wary glances but no challenges. In this city, killers walked free if they served the crown. He pushed into the nearest tavern, a dingy hole called the Broken Crown, its sign swinging crooked over a door scarred by knife fights. Inside, the air was thick with smoke from cheap pipes and the tang of spilled ale, the room a haze of low-ceilinged chaos where gamblers hunched over dice tables and drunks slurred tales of lost fortunes. Vaer claimed a corner stool at the bar, slapping down a handful of coins for a flagon of dark brew that burned going down, warm and bitter like old regrets. He joined a game of bones with a crew of roughnecks, scarred mercenaries nursing grudges and tankards alike, and for a while, luck smiled. His rolls came hot, the gold piling up as he laughed off their grumbles, the alcohol blurring the edges of his pain. A buxom serving wench with a barbed tongue poured refills, her hips brushing his arm in a tease that promised more if the coins kept flowing. The night spun into a blur of clinking mugs, raucous bets, and the sweet rush of winning. Relief flooding him like the booze, washing away the kid's wide-eyed desperation. But as the flagon emptied and the dice cooled, guilt crept in like a thief in the shadows. Vaer stared into the foam, Dylan's face surfacing unbidden, that soft-bellied nobody from Earth, all wide eyes and whining at first, looking up to him like Vaer was some goddamn savior. The kid had been a wreck, Yeah, but he'd shown spine, facing down shadow wolves with a broken sword, hardening under Vea's brutal lessons, even finding a flicker of bravery in the Bloodwild's meat grinder. And now, focal point of Kings and Gods, Aelthyr's paranoia, Yans's blades, maybe even Zorath's mad schemes. Vea had sold him out for a purse and a promise, just like he'd betrayed the Night Vale for his own skin. What kind of man left a pup to the wolves? The thought twisted like a knife in his gut. The tavern's roar fading to a dull hum, a hand clamped his shoulder from behind, iron-strong and urgent. Vea spun, blade half-drawn before he registered the face. Zariel, the wood elf, wild-eyed and breathless, his luminous green eyes blazing with fury and fear. "You need to come with me now," Zariel hissed, voice low and edged with desperation.